What's going on today, guys? Hutchins here, and today I'm bringing you a video about an efficient PoH setup. In this video, I'm going to be discussing render time, cost, boost, and just the general best setup. This isn't to be confused with a 1 to 99 construction guide or leveling guide in any way. There are already tons of those videos on YouTube, and I've seen a lot of people asking for this type of comprehensive video, and I haven't really seen any, so yeah, hopefully this helps you guys. Okay, so what I wanted to discuss first of all is reducing your render time. This will help if you're training prayer or you're just trying to get somewhere quickly through the portals in your house. There are three main things that affect render time. That's the number of levels, the number of rooms you have, and the total area of the PoH that's being rendered. The first one is pretty self-explanatory. If you have an upstairs or a downstairs, it's going to increase your render time. So if that's a high priority for you, I would recommend limiting that. Also, the number of rooms, again, if you're trying to prioritize your render time, then only include rooms that you really actually need. The third one is a little more difficult to understand. It's the total area being rendered. So say I have 4 rooms and I have them adjacent to each other in a 2x2 area. Those are going to load quicker than if you have them spread out over a 3x3 area. So I would definitely try to keep those as condensed as possible if you're trying to prioritize your render time. Alright, so next I'm just going to discuss the rooms that you need to have the most efficient setup and the cost that goes along with it. As you can see here at number 1, we have a chapel. You need incense burners and a gilded altar. You don't actually need marble incense burners. You only need like the lowest level kind, which barely costs anything, which is just the incense burner. And that's going to run you at 1.2 mil for the entire room. The next is the quest hall, and really you only need to build the room and a mounted glory. If you're teleporting with the crafting cave whenever you're training prayer, you don't really need this. However, if you plan on hosting like house parties or gilded altars, then you'll probably need one of these because people will prefer that. Next up is the workshop. Really all you need in this is the armor repair stand. There are a couple other things that are pretty useful for like doing clues or like other type things. But really, if you're only looking to do like just the minimal amount efficient setup, then you only need 15k for a decent workshop with an armor repair stand. The next room is a portal chamber. You'll need 2 of these. However, there's going to be an update soon where you can have a lot more portals. Currently there are 7 different portals that you can use, and Mod Ash is going to add 7 more, so you'll probably want 4 of these rooms, a max of 5, which would be able to give you all the portals. However, I imagine that some that he's adding won't be very useful, but nonetheless we'll discuss the best setup for 4 or 5 portal rooms. Anyway, with that being said, the 6 portals and the rooms to activate it and the teleport focuses for 2 rooms is going to run you about 450k. However, expect it to almost double or over double if these rooms are implemented, and I'm also going to discuss that as well. So that's probably going to be 1.2 mil if you're adding on like the max amount of portal rooms. The next is a superior garden, which you'll want the spirit tree, fairy ring, and the ornate rejuvenation pool. This is going to run you 2.3 mil plus a spirit seed, which is untradeable. The best way to get one of those is probably Wintertide or Zora. Last and definitely not least is the achievement gallery. What you're looking for here is the occult altar and the ornate jewelry box. Together these are going to run you about 12 mil. Okay guys, so since you're trying to probably build the best setup that you can for your level, let's talk about construction level boosts. First of all, you have the crystal saw. This is pretty much essential if you're trying to get the best out of your level. There's a +3 invisible boost for anything that requires a saw. This pretty much excludes anything in your garden, but it works for most furniture. And the quest required for this is the Eyes of Glowfree. The next is the orange spicy stew. At most it can give a +5 boost. There's a small percentage that it will boost that whenever you drink it, so you might need multiple of these stews, as you will probably find out during the quest. It can be boost 1 through 5, so you'll have to kind of cope with that whenever you go for it and get multiple stews. This requires the Evil Dave portion of the Recipe for Disaster quest. And lastly, we have tea, which will boost 1 through 3 depending on the type used. You'll need a construction level for this. However, it will not be used in this guide because it doesn't stack with the boost of the stew, and the stew can give up to 5. So I figure most people will be using this. However, if you do decide you want to use this, you don't need +5 and you'd rather just have the +3, then I will leave a wiki link in the description for more info on that. Okay, so let's go over some of the level requirements for the rooms that you'll need for your efficient PoH setup. First of all, we have the chapel, which maxes at level 75 for the gilded altar. However, you can build it at level 67 using a crystal saw and spicy stew. Quest hall at level 47, you can use a crystal saw and spicy stew to lower that to 39 for the amount of glory. Workshop, you'll need level 55 for the armor repair stand and can be lowered to level 47. Portal rooms, you'll need level 50, but it can be lowered to 42 with the saw and stew. For the superior garden, if you want the tree and ring, it'll require you level 95. You can't use the crystal saw in this, so it will lower it to level 90 if you use spicy stew. And also you'll need level 90 for the rejuvenation pool, but it can be lowered to level 82 using the saw and the stew. As far as the achievement gallery goes, you will need level 90 for the altar. A saw can be used on it, so you can lower that to level 82 as well as using a stew. And the jewelry box requires level 91, but can be lowered to level 83 using a saw and a stew. In summary, you will need level 91 for the absolute most efficient setup, that is including the tree and ring and the jewelry box. Okay guys, so for the first setup that I'm showing you, I just want to go ahead and start out by saying that the formal garden in this template, I'm going to be using in place of the superior garden, and the skill hall in place of the achievement gallery. Reason being is this is RuneHQ's PoH template. As far as I'm aware, OSRS doesn't have one, so this is what we'll be using. Just keep those two things in mind. So as you can see, the formal garden or the superior garden is north of the portal, and the achievement gallery is to the west right here. The reason you want it to be like that is because you want your pool to be on the southwest corner, and you want your jewelry box to be on the northeast corner of the achievement gallery, so that you can quickly use that and then run to your jewelry box. You'll also notice that I have 5 portal chambers. Previously you only needed 2, 3 at most, but now with the new teleports that I mentioned earlier, you will need your most important ones right here, here, and to the north, and then the ones you use the less often on the east and west wings. These will be slightly farther away, and you probably won't use them very often, but if you want to have those, that is where I would put them. Also, you notice the workshop is right beside the portal as well. That's for easy access if you want to fix any of your Barrow's armor or things of that nature. Okay, so now for the second setup that I have. This will be more effective for training your prayer. What I have here is the chapel to the north. You do need it angled in this way so that it's slightly quicker to get to your altar and to light your burners. If you're hosting, this is also efficient to have a quest hall here. This isn't really for you if you're using the crafting guild to bank or a dual ring, whichever you prefer, but this is really in case you want to host ever and you need a glory teleport for it to be right here. Now the variation, the main thing that really differs from the last one, is that the superior garden is to the south of the portal. You're going to need to have the rejuvenation pool to the north of the superior garden, and just keep the jewelry where it's at. It will be quite a bit farther away than it was whenever you had the superior garden to the north, but this is only a temporary setup for training prayer. Thankfully Modash made it to where we can change relatively easily the room setup, so yeah, this is really only to be used for a temporary setup while you're training prayer, and all other times you should pretty much use the other setup that I just showed. Also, the other main difference is the portal chamber is no longer to the north, it's down below the superior garden now. So whenever you get done with it, you should just change it back to where you had it before. Okay guys, and something else that I want to mention briefly is talking about hedges, walls, and fences. As you can see here, just entered my house. I have maxed my main floor, my top floor, and most of my basement just for aesthetic reasons, but this is actually not the most efficient setup because I do have these hedges, walls, and fences here. If you actually want to maximize your efficiency, then go ahead and don't do any of this right here. If you care about it, then I guess you can put it, but as far as efficiency goes, you'll want to leave this open so that you can run to the pool straight to it right there. As you can see here, I run around it wasting a few ticks. It's actually not that big of a difference. I've done a few corp kills with the pool, and I get back about the same time as my teammates, sometimes quicker. So really, it's up to personal preference. If you want the more efficient approach, then go ahead and do that. But this also gives you kind of a look at what you're looking to go for as far as your efficient setup goes as well. You want your jewelry box close to your rejuvenation pool if at all possible. So yeah, definitely consider that whenever you're building your PoH. Also, something else I want to talk to you guys about before I go is the portal room and kind of what you should expect as far as the requirements go. You will need the level requirement for each of the spells that you're going to be making into portals. For instance, a Varrock portal is 25 magic. You can boost this with potions, actually. Just as a aside, in case you guys want to do that, you will need 100 times the runes to be able to focus a portal towards where you're going. So Varrock costs like 1 law, 1 fire, and 3 airs. So you need 100 laws, 100 fires, and 300 airs. If a particular spell requires a quest to unlock it, you'll have to do that as well. So for all portals, you'll need Plague City, Watchtower, Desert Treasure, and Lunar Diplomacy. For the teleport to Corinne spell, you'll probably need the teleport incantations from the Arceus library. That hasn't been released yet, but I'm presuming that you do that just simply because it follows the pattern of current spells. And also, one more thing that I wanted to mention are 2 other particular rooms that are very useful in my opinion. Although it's not 100% efficient to have them, you don't have to have them to have an efficient PoH, but they are extremely useful. The first one is the menagerie. As you can see here, I have my pets roaming, but you can keep your pets in here. It's a nice addition to the house in my opinion, and it also saves you some bank space. And the other helpful room that I want to talk to you guys about is the costume room. As you can see here, there are several different boxes and chests that you can go into, and you can keep capes in the cape rack. Obviously, this will help greatly save bank space if you have a lot of skill capes. I'll just show you inside the magic wardrobe real quick what all kinds of things you can keep in here as well. And the armor case is also very helpful. The treasure chest is for keeping clue rewards in as well if you're a clue hunter and you want to do that. But yeah, as you can see, this will definitely save you a lot of bank space. I would recommend putting that on the bottom floor, somewhere pretty inconspicuous. That doesn't really hinder your efficiency, I guess, if you're doing other things. But yeah, anyways guys, this concludes my efficient PoH setup guide. I really hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope it helped you a lot. Like I said at the very beginning, I didn't really see any other videos that were like this one, so hoping this will fill a niche for some people and that you'll really get a lot out of it. But if you want to see more, make sure to subscribe, like the video, and I will see you guys next time.